Hey everyone, welcome back to my podcast, Ill Equipped. I am your host, Jamila. How's everybody doing? I hope everybody's day was good. I hope you're ready to hear some good conversations and, just be real and raw on this podcast of Ill Equipped. Um, I do not live by the rules of society, so if you're looking for perfect, just keep listening because the rules of society do not live here. And the meaning of ill equipped is not having the experience or preparation that is needed. On this podcast, it will feature a host of people who don't have it all together. So, yeah, period, poo. And you'll get experiences from real people with raw stories. So this is the unedited version of the truth. So welcome in. Yes, y'all, this is the 11th episode of Ill Equipped. Can you believe it? 11 dang on episodes. And let me tell you, as I said before, and I will say it again, yes, believe in yourself. Please. If nobody does, you believe in yourself. So on this episode of Ill Equipped, I'll just be talking a little bit about some of the things that I got going on, where I am as far as my progress with the podcast, and of course, some other topics. I just wanted to really quickly touch on my last podcast in the name of success and, really touch on, making what it takes to make your podcast better. I touched on, what platforms as far as podcast goes, which ones were the hardest, and Apple iTunes was the hardest, but also not giving up, and, being happy and proud, with your hard work. So all important things, that I think that were discussed on in the name of success. So just speaking about in the name and just speaking about success and having a more successful podcast, I've actually been doing some research and I'm going to share it with you guys because I love you so much. I've been looking into more information about a landing page, and I'm not going to read everything that I've wrote down, but basically, it serves as an anchor, for a lot of important information for your podcast, and people can visit and learn about you and your podcast. So I think if any of my listeners or subscribers or just starting off early, such as I am in the early stages, or rebranding wherever you are in your podcast journey, I think it's important that you know that. So, yeah, a landing page is super essential to taking your content to the next level. So that's kind of what a landing page is, and would like just help you kind of not just have people come and visit your podcast, but subscribe, and that's what we really want. So some of the advantages of having a landing page is it boosts your visibility, and so it also helps you connect with your audience in other ways besides just your podcast episodes. So I think that's super dope. I definitely wanted to share that with you guys before I dive too deep into conversation. So, just to kind of give you a recap, if you haven't listened to my last podcast in the name of success, please go listen to it. Um, but just talking about some of the difficulties that I had with my artwork and how I kind of figured that out. So, like I said, in the name of success on that episode, I spoke about if you need any help, you know, with your podcast, just reach out to me. I have no problem, you know, divulging information that I find because I think it's super helpful that we help each other. So, yeah. Um, I think it's important that we speak life into ourselves, that we believe in ourselves, and the way that we talk to ourselves. So I know a lot of us, have been going about life like, oh, I can't, I don't know how, and that seemed like just the easy way to kind of not not get involved, and I get it. But I think we all have to, take some time to speak life into ourselves because when we do we see our talents come out like never before. So turning that no into a yes, and figuring out it may not be as easy as we think on the first time, on the first try, excuse me, first time try, whatever. Again, like I said, if you're looking for perfect, just keep listening. um, but knowing that it's not going to be easy, but it's going to be worth it, right? I think that's important to take into perspective when you are on your journey, wherever your journey may be in life, is to know that, it's just really speaking life into yourself and not giving up and learning what it is that you don't know. So that way, next time you go into that room or you have that conversation, you can say, well, I do know, it may not be it all, but you know something, right? So not to stay ignorant, right? Because again, I mentioned this a few times, but ignorance is bliss. The meaning really had no significance until I got older, and I'm like, oh, I get that now, right? So sometimes it's better to stay ignorant because you don't have to deal with everything going on around you. But I think it's important that we learn and we teach ourselves. So super important stuff. I wanted to also touch on my YouTube progress. So YouTube's a whole nother ball game besides iTunes, and I'm really kind of gearing towards art design. I'm trying to think of one. I'm a really artsy person, but right now I haven't really thought of an art design for ill-equipped. But I definitely want to get that posted up on my YouTube page for sure. And I also wanted to update you guys on my book's progress. So there was a few. So like I don't know if anybody. I don't know if I told my listeners or followers this, but I am a writer, rogue writer. I do everything rogue. Um, I did. Actually, I did the. I did. I definitely touched on my book, The Other Side of the Bridge. I couldn't touch on my poem book because it's not copywritten yet. So definitely for sure, I know I touched on that. But I want to update you guys on the progress. So self-publishing, that's another thing. So I'm looking to go through, well, I'm actually doing my research on a few self-publishing companies, and I cannot stress this enough. Do your research, do your research, do your research. Don't just settle because somebody tells you do your homework, and you don't just have to jump into that one because it seems like it's the best one. There's definitely other companies out here that have a lot of good benefits. So just make sure that they work out for you. Make sure you have, like I said, all your copyrights, and yeah, you'll be straight. You'll be fine. So I think that's important to also let my listeners know, is that when you're working on something such as a book, oh, excuse me, what the heck? I sound like a whole man. Um, when you're working on a book, um, I'm really trying to stop saying y'all. when you're working on a book, you want to definitely make sure you have everything you need before you put it out there. And so, yeah, with the book, um, those are kind of the final stages that it's in. I've been working super, super hard. I cannot wait for you guys to read it. Super, super dope. But yeah, to the good stuff. The question posed: what is success? Because I know, like I said on my last episode, it's literally titled In the Name of Success. But I said I wanted to clarify what success looks like to each of us as individuals. Because my success journey is not going to be what your success journey looks like. So, the definition of successful is the accomplishment of an aim or purpose, right? And then another definition is the good or bad outcome of an undertaking. So, those are just two definitions of what successful could mean. But success is also defined as the ability to reach your goals in life, whatever those goals may be. In some ways, a better word for success might be attainment, accomplishment, or progress. And listen to this: it's not necessarily a destination, but a journey that helps develop the skills and resources that you need to thrive. I'm going to read that last part over. And this is what is being successful. It is not necessarily a destination, but a journey that helps develop the skills and resources that you need to thrive, right? Not a destination, but a journey, right? So we're constantly on this journey to success, but it's never like, okay, this is it, this is the end. No, like this is not your destination, right? This is not where you stop at. And I think that is so, so important to understand, right? Because each of us have a different journey that we're on. But if we don't acquire the necessary skills and resources while we're on that journey, how will we ever thrive? Not survive, but thrive. Because a lot of us are used to surviving instead of thriving. I'm here to tell you, I used to compare myself to a chameleon. And what are chameleons good at? Blending in, making do with the environment that they're living in. I was surviving. But I was like, I no longer wanted to be like a chameleon. Like I wanted to be able to live within my environment without being afraid. So now I have to blend in. I have to look like everybody else or everything else. I have to do what everybody else is doing or say what everybody else is saying. I wanted to be different. I no longer wanted to be a chameleon. I wanted to be me, Jamila. So when you claim that, right, you claim yourself. Okay? So we have to go from surviving to thriving, but knowing that we're on a journey and not a destination, so we can't stay there. Success is not something that once we get it, it's over. No, it's a journey. So clarifying what I spoke about in my last episode of my podcast in the name of success. And if you haven't gone to check it out, please go check it out. Oh, I know this is random, but it's a sidebar, and I'm sideboarding on purpose because I really feel bad. I apologize. I know I just literally jumped right in to, like, I feel so horrible. I like jump right in, like subscribe to my podcast. But no, I want to thank all of my listeners. If you're new to Ill Equipped, thank you, thank you, thank you. If you've been downloading, subscribing my episodes, thank you. I just want to say I appreciate each and every one of my followers, no matter the amount. All of my followers that have been with me since 2020, I just want to say I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. We going to the top together. So yes, I definitely had to sidebar for that because I'm just thinking, I'm like, something don't feel right. And that's what it was. So yes, let's get back on track. Success. And what is success, right? And what are some of the things that make people successful, right? Okay, so for instance, drive, patience, and discipline, and having a motivation to actually be successful, right? A strong work ethic. Okay, so, I'll speak about discipline. Um, when we're young, we don't want to abide by certain rules because we say in our head, well, I don't have to. You're right. But we also have to live with the consequences. As we get older, some of us learn that that discipline is going to lead to success. We can't do what we want just because we said we want to do it, or we don't always get what we want out of life just because we say give me. Now that may be an illusion to some people because again, we look at other people's lives from the outside, but are they really having their way? Who's paying for it? So actually being disciplined and having that drive to go ahead and say, you know what, this is what I want to do in life, and I'm gonna do it. And then behind the drive, right, we got to be patient with ourselves. We got to take our time. We have to learn ourselves, learn a craft. But I say here on Ill Equipped, it's all right to not be prepared. It's all right to jump in something and learn as you go on. But like I said, make sure you surround yourself with people that's going to help you if you start drowning. Make sure you got your floaties. Make sure there ain't nobody stabbing you in your back. Sometimes, yeah, we have to go to school, swimming school, and this is literally a metaphor. Sometimes we have to, go to swimming school and learn how to swim. Other times we just jump in and figure it out from there. So, literally, what works for you, but have patience with yourself. Be motivated to accomplish something. And then, last but not least, a strong work ethic, right? How much are we willing to work beyond the next person? Because we got to work hard in order to be success, no matter how big or how small your dream may be. And I actually want to read you guys something that I wrote a while back. I never really promote anything on my page except my podcast episodes. So definitely go check out In the Name of Success. Super dope. Yeah, go check that out. But I'm actually looking for something I want to read to you all. So I actually maybe 2 years ago, I actually got to watch a documentary about Michael Jordan. And man, was I so like inspired, right? I was inspired because I said, this guy worked so hard. I mean, he worked above and beyond everybody else. And in life, we have to do that. We have to be willing to work harder than anybody else. We have to have a good work ethic. We have to be able to say, okay, I got to be disciplined. I can't be up all night. I got to make sure that I'm on time. I can't just do what I want because I said so. Right? So those are super important. I'm looking at my notes. I know I'll find it. If I don't, if I don't find it in the next second, I'm going to jump to my next topic. Oh, just give me a second. I'll find it. Okay, I know I will find it. It says, are you willing to work harder than everyone else to achieve greatness? Greatness isn't achieved overnight. Michael was just a man willing to work harder than everyone else. When he left the game, he owed nothing to it. However, he came back and gave it all he had. MJ loved basketball, and the fans just loved the game, but with an exception of a few. MJ went above and beyond the limits every time. You have to show up for every game, every practice. Hard work and dedication are what brings out results. No excuses. Go beyond your strengths and reach higher limits. I wrote that July 24th, 2021. 5:05 p.m. if y'all want to know exact. I mean, if y'all, dang, y'all my business. Y'all my business. It's like, no, I quit. And so, yeah, you have to be willing to work harder than everyone else. Whatever it is you want to do, you have to do it. You have to be the one to take those first steps. You might not see it, but you have people that are supporting you. And so my next question to ponder is, does money or success change people? Because I know I hear that a lot. So it's a question. Does money or success change people? And what does that look like? Right? Do people get so successful that they don't realize they've changed? And is the change bad? And do people get so rich that they have changed, and is the change bad or good? Just some questions to think about, right? Because a lot of times I hear people say when people get successful, they change. And my question would be, well, why? And if they do, how? And in what ways? Right? To really have that conversation. So, a whole bunch of things talked about, a lot of things to think about. But yeah, super important. Just thinking about, where everybody is at in their life of succeeding or success, and what that looks like for you. And I think that's important to remember, that everybody's idea of success is not going to be the same. Like, just because you're listening to this doesn't mean that you're going to agree with everything that I'm saying. And that's fine. Like, I don't believe in groupthink. Like, I believe that people should have ideas that are outside the box. Like, if I'm going to have a team, I want everybody to be able to do something different. So that way we can contribute as a team. And that way, when one falls short, we are their crutch. But being able to do for yourself. So I think that's important to remember. And just, I'm heavy on, like I said again, I said before, I'll say it again. I'm an optimistic, and I believe that, whatever we do, we can, do with the best abilities, that God has given us, right? And to be optimistic is to be hopeful and to be confident about the future of a successful outcome of something, right? And so I'm always optimistic about the future, always, right? My attitude and my belief is that, whatever you want to do, you will do it. You will obtain success. And whatever that looks like for you. Don't let the pressures of society make you feel like you're not doing enough. Like, don't put so much pressure on yourself that you're just burning yourself out. Because burnout is not what we want. And that's why I say here on Ill Equipped, this podcast will feature a host of people who don't have it all together. And if you're looking for perfect, just keep listening. The pressure of society does not live here. And that's exactly why my podcasts are as real and as raw as they are. Because I can't do it any other way. Like, if I was to try to, like, edit these or, certain things that I say, I would just try to, pretend that I didn't say it or, make an excuse for my mistakes. It happens. It's life. And that's the part of life that a lot of us don't get to hear or see because we keep it behind closed doors and we make it look good. Like I said, even when it's not. So here on Ill Equipped, no preparation or experience is needed. So yes, super, super heavy stuff. I just want to say too, hey, if you're listening to this, yeah, I'm recently celebrating a birthday. And so I'm super, super excited about that. Yeah, 2 days ago, 29 years old. And so super, just super proud of myself. And I think as a birthday gift to myself, again, I'm going to just, keep patting myself on the back and, just believing in myself and, speaking to myself in a different life, speaking, actual life into myself, right? Saying it all full and backwards. Okay? Because if we don't, who else will? So, yes, love, life, and yeah, yourself and success and what that looks like. So, those are the topics that I had today. I didn't know how long I was going to be on here for. Like, again, nothing's prepped, so whatever. But yeah, and that's it. I only do my two random ponders at the end because for I think the last 3 episodes I've been pondering them and whatever. Don't judge me. But the live and the podcast with a random person. Y'all, I thought it was going to be easier, but it's not as easy as I thought. But that doesn't mean that I'm not going to do it then. Because I was saying, I could just be talking to somebody and we could be talking and then I could just be like, boom. But then I was like, I don't know. Right? Like, how is they going to feel about that? Like, is they going to be like, girl? But, so yeah, like, still haven't been able to do that. But again, I'm updating you guys on everything that I have going on with this podcast. And so, yeah, that one has been like just tricky, but I'm working at it. It's definitely going to happen. Live's definitely going to happen. I'm super excited about that. Yes, 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 yes. And my guest that I am going to be live with, yes, I gave you all a little spoiler. I definitely, I have a guest. I have my special guest. So please stay tuned for my first live podcast. I'll be introducing a co-host with me on that one. So yeah, a whole bunch of fun and exciting stuff that's happening or happened in the happenings, whatever. I think that was actually a movie. Not sure. But yeah. So again, I just want to say thank you to all of my listeners, my subscribers. I really, really, truly appreciate y'all because without y'all, what would I be doing this for? Um, and as I said before in the beginning, very rudely without saying that first, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel, Ill Equipped, to check out new episodes every Friday. And check out Ill Equipped on Podbean, iTunes, Spotify, Podchaser, and Listen Notes as well. We are up and rolling on there. So yeah, it's a lot of good things going on, and I hope there's a lot of good things going on in your life as well, because that's what it's all about: living well, feeling better. So yeah, all of those things combined. I think that, when we stick together and, we come together with, different perspectives, different ideas, we can really make this thing called life a little bit better. So if you're listening, you're in a good space. Again, I don't know how many people would agree, but hey, you know what I would say. If you listen to my last episodes, if you haven't, go check them out. And then I know I always have something at the end. Just speaking of my episodes, can y'all believe it? 11 episodes. Let's go, of consistency every Friday. Um, yeah, so let's go. Oh, too, and I want to talk about this too, because don't let this be something that stops you. So on my warning, explicit content, high emotions, published March 17, 2023. If you haven't gone to check that out, go check it out. Super dope. Um, that was my longest podcast, but I didn't get a lot of downloads. And I was like, oh, wait, what? But listen, that just gave me motivation to keep going. So I want to tell you, whatever you're doing, if you're in the brand new stages, the baby stages, do not be hard on yourself. Listen, keep going, keep being consistent, keep grinding out. You will be surprised what a year's work looks like, okay? You'll be surprised what a week's worth of work looks like. There's a big difference, okay? So put in that time, put in that energy, go ahead and, just do whatever you want to do. But put your best foot forward. So I always want to tell y'all that, because everything does not always look good. Sometimes when people think you have it all together, it's like they got to pretend. I'm not pretending, so you don't pretend. Always be yourself. Stay true to yourself. People will rock with you no matter what. That's my big message. I'm going to stick by that. I told y'all, if it's not something I can stick by, don't got no foundation, I don't want nothing to do with it. So, yeah, that's it. That's all for today. Make sure y'all definitely go check out Warning, Heavy Content, Losing a Parent, When Life Serves Us Lemons Without Sugar, The Failures of Succeeding, Slight Interference, Adrift, Warning, Explicit Content, High Emotions, Relationships and Self-Love, Approaching 30, Beauty is Pain, Illmatic. Yeah. How y'all like that? Ah. All of them. And down on the line, yeah, I'm humble bragging. Let's get it. Whatever you want, you could do. Just don't give up on yourself. All right, y'all. Everybody have a good night. Again, thank each and every one of my listeners. I love y'all. And yeah, tell a friend and tell a friend about Ill Equipped. We popping over here. Bye.